on the Aggie Sports Network. From Learfield, Aggie football has been brought to you by Ford. Build Ford proud. And by Stokes. Stokes Trucking. Doing the right thing since 1979. Welcome to Aggie Postgame.
39-21 is our final here in Colorado Springs. Utah State loses to Air Force. We talked about the last 2 years these two teams have played. There's always been crazy drama. Well, not a lot of drama tonight. Air Force jumped out to a 22-0 lead. They led 32-7 at halftime, and it was pretty much at that after that as Air Force just cruises to a fairly easy victory tonight. Your post-game show brought to you by Farm Bureau agent Bruce Jones. Bruce, give him a call. He'll help protect that future of yours. 435-752-3233. It's your future. Let's protect it. Well, I know this loss stings. I know Utah State fans aren't particularly happy, probably a little salty about this one. But speaking of future, you may have seen the future tonight in quarterback McCae Hillstead.
Finishes 18 of 27 for 202 yards and 3 touchdowns. You know, it showed some inexperience in certain areas as Air Force started to really heat him up there at the end of the third quarter and into the fourth quarter. But he showed a lot of poise as well. Stood in the face of that pressure, delivered a beautiful football all night long. We saw him move the chains a handful of times on third and fourth downs. And I think he solidified himself as the guy going forward. We'll see what Coach Blake Anderson has to say about it, but I think that the team sees it. They sense it. They can feel it, that he's the right guy to lead this team going forward.
Yeah, and there's a certainly when you talk about quarterback changes, you always go to the locker room because Cooper Legas from the LA Bowl 2 years ago to last season going 5-2 and getting the team bowl eligible and getting them through that 1-4 start to the season, you knew that he had a lot of supporters in that locker room. And so when you make a move like this, you're always a little concerned about how that's going to resonate in the locker room. Well, tonight, I don't know if there's a player in that Utah State locker rooms that sees how he performed and how he handled himself under some pretty rough situations and not say, this probably needs to be our guy.
He proved itself. He proved himself in front of his teammates and in front of everybody else that he can do this. And he is the guy. You saw the decision making. You saw him stand tall in the pocket and deliver. You saw him move outside of pressure and into some space to make throws. You saw him move the chains with his feet a handful of times. And you saw him on fourth down a couple of times decisively make a throw to Micah Davis for a touchdown and also to Brock Lane to keep the chains moving. Those are all great positive things you can work on. Now, how do you get him coached up to get all the first team reps going forward and figure out, because more and more people are going to try to heat him up now.
Yes.
And so you're going to have to figure out where's your check down? Where's your hots? What are you going to do when you're going to bring the safety? What about the middle backers? Those are the kind of things that as he gets these reps, which are so valuable now, we talked about it, down 39-14, do you get him out at that point? Absolutely not. And he led them on another scoring drive to get this to a 39-21 game. All that is so valuable for a young freshman who I thought tonight handled himself extremely well.
Well, let's be honest. There's a lot of defensive coordinators out there that lick their chops when they think about a freshman quarterback. And you're right, disguising blitzes, corner blitzes, stuff that they're not expecting for. There were a couple of rough moments out there tonight. Not seeing those, not being able to check down, not realizing where that's coming from. But all of that's going to be for his betterment down the line. And I got to imagine by week 6 or 7, this guy's not going to look like a freshman quarterback.
No doubt. And what you're also going to do is you're going to get Faison and others and those running backs the ability to learn how to pass pro a little bit better.
Yeah.
We saw Faison in the fourth quarter got a little bit better, but in the third and early fourth, he was struggling in pass pro to help his mate there. Really worried a little bit about Briggs and Booth now.
Yeah.
We came in with a three-headed monster. Now we're down to Faison. And maybe Cooper Jones. We'll see if Sione now maybe gets some action. Not sure the injury to Devon Booth. Have to see how that plays out. But overall, I thought McCae Hillstead gave Utah State a spark tonight. Down 22-0. Coach Blake Anderson said, okay, it's time. We gotta show something. And McCae Hillstead handled himself extremely well.
Valley Office Systems has been a proud partner of Utah State Athletics for 10 years. Go to valleyofficesystems.com for all your copy, print, scan, and furniture needs. Take our first break here on your post-game show. Utah State loses 39-21. Today's post-game show brought to you by Farm Bureau agent Bruce Jones. This is Aggie football from Learfield.
Stoats Equipment encourages all Aggie fans to go green this year and choose a John Deere. With locations in Preston, Idaho and Tremont in Utah, Stoats provides a wide selection of John Deere equipment. Whether you're looking to buy new or used, big or small, Stoats has it all. Find them online at stotzequipment.com. Buy green and save green with Stoats Equipment, a proud partner of Utah State Athletics.
Calling all Aggies. Your Utah State University Alumni Association is hosting a Running of the Bulls 5K on October 7th. Can't be there in person? Be a part of the virtual 5K, and no matter where you are, you can be a part of the fun. Proceeds benefit USU's Spirit Squad. Sign up online and check out other events at usu.edu/homecoming.
Hey, Utah State football fans, it's tailgating season, which means it's time to fire up the grill and bring on the snacks. Whether you're camping out in the parking lot or watching the games from home, Macy's is sure to have you covered for all your tailgating party needs. Macy's knows there's a lot of prep that goes into your perfect tailgate. That's why they've made tailgating easier for you with options like prepped and seasoned bacon-wrapped chicken and steak kebabs. Easy meals from their meat department to smoked ribs and sausage in their delicatessen. Macy's freshly made guacamole and salsa or fresh-cut fruit trays are also sure to be a crowd pleaser. Macy's offerings are fresh, easy, and ready for same-day curbside pickup or delivery if you shop online at macys.com/online. With Macy's, you can spend less time prepping and more time enjoying the game. No matter what your favorite tailgating foods may be, Macy's is sure to have you covered, just like pigs in a blanket. Macy's, happy shopping.
(39-21) is your final in this one. Utah State with a tough loss, and the Aggies fall to 1-2 on the season with a couple big games coming up. Teams that may not move the meter from a name standpoint, but James Madison, their second year of FBS football, actually last year at one point was ranked in the top 25. It's a good team, and they're coming to Logan coming up on Saturday. Make sure to get your tickets. Need that same kind of atmosphere you saw against that Idaho State game. It gets a good James Madison team. Go to UtahStateAggies.com. Siegfried and Jensen serving the Utah community for over 30 years and has won over $1.2 billion for their clients. I want to thank Siegfried and Jensen for their support of Utah State athletics and the people of Utah. All right, so Kevin, let's go through some stats on this one. You had a really ugly stat you shared with me in the during the break. Aggies with only 3 offensive possessions in the second half. 3. Wow.
Scored on 2 of them, and were driving and got stopped on 4th down on the other. But they only had 3 possessions and only 9 for the game. And one of the keys that I had was they needed to be in double digits in possessions. They didn't steal a possession. They weren't able to stop Air Force. No turnovers for Air Force. -2 in the turnover battle. They gave up 344 yards on the ground. Our key was 275. So we were 0 for 4 on my keys. The first one to 30 was one of the keys, and certainly Air Force did that one, but not Utah State. But overall, when you look at it, for Utah State, McCae Hillstead, 18 of 27 for 202 yards and 3 touchdowns. Before that, Cooper Legas was 2 of 7 for 46 and had a couple of throws. As you recall in that second quarter, had a back-to-back throws to Micah Davis and then to Terrell Vaughn, and they were moving. And then he had that stare down of Brock Lane that allowed Jonathan Youngblood to spy it and jump in and make a one-handed interception. And that was, for all intents and purposes, that was the last play for Cooper Legas.
Yeah, we saw the body language of Blake Anderson on the sideline, and it was not pretty. And after the fumble, after the interception, you just knew it was time. It was time.
And he's been telling us all season long that McCae Hillstead was coming. And he proved it tonight. Really did. The young man handled himself extremely well. On the ground, Utah State didn't get it done either. Only 54 yards on the ground on 26 carries, and give Air Force credit. They did a really nice job against a team that went for 380 yards a week ago. Certainly hurting without Robert Briggs, and then Devon Booth, who went out of the game in the second quarter. Rasul Faison finishes 7 carries for 40 yards, continues to show that he's got the ability in the flash to make some big plays, but only 54 yards on the ground.
Aggies, a lot to take from this game and build upon. Joining us now, Micah Davis. Tough loss, Micah. We appreciate you joining us here on the post-game show. Kind of walk us through how this game kind of got away from you, and are there things there that you were able to do in the second half that you can build on?
Yeah, there's definitely things that we can use to build on. We just came out a little bit slow. We got to figure it out early on and just put it together a full game, and I think we come out with a dub.
You know, Mike, I know that you grew up with a lot of these guys here on the other side, and I'm curious what it was like for you to play against some of your former mates here tonight.
It was interesting. They were definitely giving me a little trash at the beginning, but, you know, as I had a lot of love, we're all good friends, good competitors, just out here giving it our best.
So, talk about the freshman. McCae Hillstead came in. You got a touchdown from him. He showed a lot of poise out there in a rough situation. Give me your evaluation of what you saw from him.
He definitely put on a show. We expected nothing less. In practice, he does the same thing, and we were happy to see him out there and make some plays.
Curious, Micah, in the locker room now, you got to regroup. What was said? What was the mood like in the locker room after this one?
Just moving forward. We just gotta put our heads down, grind it out. One loss doesn't define us. We just got to come back and be better.
I want to circle back to McCae Hillstead a little bit. You mentioned you'd seen him in practice, so you're not surprised by his performance out there. You'd watched him obviously in fall camp. Kind of what really jumped out at you when you saw him play, and what you seen from him, not just on the field but off the field as a potential leader of this team?
He definitely is a potential leader. On the field, he's playmaker. He's good running the ball, good throwing the ball. Off the field, he's always communicating. His locker's actually right next to mine back at Utah State. So he's definitely a good communicator. Tries to get the best out of everybody.
Curious about coming back to you were here for a couple of years and then to Iowa Western. Maybe talk a little bit about your journey to Utah State and what got you to make that decision to come to Utah State.
My journey to get here, it was a wild one. Definitely played here 2 years and then left and went to Iowa Western. And I think what actually got me here was just Coach A. Talked to him and had a good time. And when I came on my visit, just fell in love with Utah State.
Because I know that you're not a Western guy, man. You know, you're from Georgia. Mom and Dad still out there as well. Excuse me, not Georgia. You're from Atlanta, Georgia. So
yes,
you got Mom and Dad out there. You probably had options back east. That was probably a tough sell to say, look, no, I want to stay in the western part of the United States.
Yes, sir. It was definitely a rough one because I wanted to get back home, see my family a little bit more. But after seeing Coach A, talking with him, discussing how we're going to move forward, it was definitely it felt like home.
Well, Micah, 4 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Talk about the play down the sideline, though, the one-handed catch. It was a little bit of a double move, and you made the one-handed catch. Talk about that play.
It was a nice little double move. Hit him with a stutter, kept going. He pushed me out of bounds a little bit, had to regain my footing, but I saw the ball in there and just went and made a play.
Ref threw the hat on it. Were you worried that he was going to say that you went out on your own?
Nah, not at all.
We can see you got some of your former mates down there circling around. You want to say hello, but certainly excited to have you here at Utah State, and really made a nice performance here coming back against the Academy.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here.
Hey, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
There he is, Micah Davis, wrapping up here on the post-game show. Utah State, tough loss tonight. Aggies fall to 1-2 on the season. And that does not look like Ike Larson. Who do we have down there on the field? Cole Joyce joins us now. We were told Ike Larson, and I'm looking at you, Cole. I'm like, that doesn't look like Ike Larson. How you doing, Cole?
Good. How are you?
Good. So let's talk a little bit about this game. Obviously, it got away from you a little bit early. What were they doing offensively, especially on that dive that you guys had some struggles with?
I just think that they had some great players, and then we just couldn't stop it for a while. We figured it out, but it was a little too late. But they're fullbacks, and their quarterback, they'll do great this season.
I'm curious, Cole. You ended, I think was this your first start at Utah State? I believe it was, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
And 11 tackles tonight, obviously a career high for you. And it's so hard to replicate the speed at which they run that fullback dive and the variations they run off of the dive. How are you able to adjust, and what makes them so effective?
I just think that obviously we have a scout team that tries to simulate it, and they try the best they can, and they did great this week. It's just they're professionals at it, and sometimes we just can't replicate the speed, but they run it to perfection. So if we're not perfect, then those runs will get away from us.
I don't think anybody can truly appreciate how demoralizing, how tiring it is. I mean, even on that last play, they didn't score, but they ran the clock out, and they started that drive with like 8:50 left on the clock. Just how does that wear you down as a defender trying to go up against that?
It's hard because physically it's a real physical brand of ball, and when you look up there and it's a 6-minute drive and they're just weaning all the time off the clock, it's hard for our offense to get enough drives to really make a difference. So since we didn't have any turnovers, it makes it hard with our offense.
So you got to regroup a little bit now. I'm curious the mood in the locker room, and what do you say to your guys?
We just have to play the next week. We can't look at this one. Even if we won this game, we need to just go to the next week, prepare like we usually do, and execute. We have some great players. We have a great back seven, great D-line, and I think if we just stick to our guns and not let this deter our season, I think we'll be great.
Is that hard to do after a game like this, to put it behind you and move on?
It is, because obviously we've been doing this since we were young, so we're very competitive, but you have to look at the whole season, and this game can't be the thing that breaks our season.
So I'm curious for you, Cole. Obviously, you were here a year ago, but you came from Arkansas State. Tell us a little bit about your journey to Utah State. What brought you here?
I actually came from UCF, University of Central Florida.
That's right.
Yes, sir. So I committed to Heupel there, and then he left, and then Gus Malzahn came in, and I didn't commit to him, but it just kind of wasn't the right fit. No hard feelings, and I knew Coach A from being recruited there when I was in high school, and I knew that he was a great guy, and that's kind of what head coach I wanted to be around.
So after a loss like this and you try to regroup, what do you do as a leader? What do you say to these guys to say, hey, let's try to get this thing back on track with a really good James Madison team coming up next week? What's the message there in that locker room?
I honestly just think that we need to prepare like we do, get in the film room, not just in our normal meetings, get there in the morning, nights, and then just all keep on uplifting each other.
I'm curious, as you're on the sideline watching McCae Hillstead come in, curious what that did for maybe a little bit of a spark on the sideline. Tell us what that was like as he came in and led a couple of scoring drives.
Oh, he's a great guy. He's been great for the locker room and everything, and I think he'll be a great addition in any capacity that we do. I'm not sure about the offensive game plan, obviously, but I think he performed really well tonight, and I think he has a super good future.
Cole, appreciate your time. Good luck next week, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
There you go. Cole Joyce joining us right here on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield as Utah State suffers a tough one tonight, 39-21 the final. Post-game show brought to you by Farm Bureau agent Bruce Jones. Make sure to contact him, 435-752-3233. It's your future. Let's protect it. Also, big thanks to Stokes Trucking, doing the right thing since 1979. Make sure to check them out online at stokestrucking.com. We'll take another break. Hopefully hear from Blake Anderson. Coming up next, Aggies drop a tough one, 39-21 to Air Force on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield.
At Engel and Falcon.
Adams Wealth Advisors is proud to announce that they've been named as one of the best financial advisory firms in the country by USA Today. Start maximizing your wealth potential with a team of experienced advisors who specialize in working with high net worth individuals. Let Adams Wealth Advisors help you achieve your financial goals with a personalized approach to investment management and planning. For more information on how Adams Wealth Advisors can help you achieve your financial goals, go to adamswealthadvisors.com. That's adamswealthadvisors.com.
Nearly 21 years ago, Cafe Sabor opened their doors in historic Logan train station. With the help of hundreds of amazing employees and patronage of thousands of wonderful customers, Cafe Sabor is proud to have been voted 3 years in a row Cache Valley's favorite Mexican restaurant in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Follow Cafe Sabor on social media for giveaways and promotions. Search Cafe Sabor for a restaurant near you. Thank you, Cache Valley, from your friends at Cafe Sabor.
Prodigy Brewing is celebrating fall in the air. Kids are back at school, USU students are on campus, and weekends are for football. At Prodigy Brewing, you'll find something to satisfy everyone's tastes. Juicy burgers, sizzling wood-fired pizzas, tasty salads, and a kids menu. Don't forget, September 23rd is the Giant Pumpkin Festival on Center Street. Stop by Prodigy Brewing for a quick, delicious lunch or grab a tasty Prodigy Brew in the beer garden. Voted best craft beer and bar and grill in Northern Utah. Prodigy Brewing on Center Street in downtown Logan. Extraordinary service and family friendly.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. I'd like to invite you to learn more about us. Since 1997, we've been Utah's premier one-stop shop for home medical equipment. What sets us apart at Alpine Home Medical is the superior level of customer service. We provide home oxygen, CPAPs, wheelchairs, scooters, breast pumps, and so much more. Come on down and get to know us.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit alpinehomemedical.com.
This Utah State Aggie broadcast is brought to you by Cache Valley Bank. Mountains await. Discover Cache Valley Bank on News Talk KVNU, the heritage home of Utah State sports.
This is a tough team to play for sure, with so many new players out there for Utah State trying to get their first taste of a game against this kind of offense. And when you go up against Owen Burke and Emmanuel Michel, between them 43 carries for 216 yards and 3 touchdowns. They make you forget about Brad Roberts a little bit. Those two guys were very good here tonight. And that offensive line, the wave of movement on that offensive line just over and over again, pushing the line of scrimmage 3 and 4 and 5 yards downfield, and you were always in second and short, third and short, first downs, and keeping the drives alive. And Air Force ends up with 38 minutes and 40 seconds time of possession on only 68 plays tonight, and they end up with 428 yards of total offense. You had Eldridge that went 7 carries for 58 yards. Larrier, the quarterback, 10 for 56 and a touchdown, and he was 3 of 4 in the air for 84 yards. And formula for success: run that football, chew the clock, first downs. That's their formula.
So as you look at some of the stats in this game, as you mentioned, Owen Burke with 110, Emmanuel Michel with 106, Eldridge with 58, and Eldridge is really good too. That's the thing. Like, for him being the number 3 guy, that guy can really still flat out play. And then you got Larrier with 10 carries, 56 yards, and then a host of others with 1 carry. But overall, 344 yards rushing for Air Force. And Utah State with short fields. That fumble really felt like, in other games Utah State's played against Air Force, they've had opening drives that gone for touchdowns. And then you get the offense over on the sideline, like, all right, let's settle down, figure things out, and go from there. But that fumble that gave Air Force the ball at the 11-yard line really felt like that was the moment where it's like, uh-oh, this could be a long night. Because once they put that into a touchdown and then hit you with another touchdown after a 3-and-out, it's just like, oh boy, here we go. And when you have the inability to really get stops and the clock continues to run and you have limited possessions, it's just impossible to get back into a game. 22-0 may feel like 45-0.
For sure. Against this team, it's so hard to come back. And it's why that's their formula, though. They like to play from ahead and then just run the clock. And that's what they did here tonight. And they got 2 turnovers. They got the fumble there on that second drive. And then they got the interception a little bit later on. But you had 2 3-and-outs in between there as well. And then, but I thought for Utah State, as they had a chance at down 22-0 going into the second quarter, for me, the tone really changed also. In fact, perhaps for the season.
Yes.
When Cooper Legas, 2 completions back-to-back to Micah Davis and to Terrell Vaughn, then he threw the interception to Jonathan Youngblood. Changed the whole course of the season, because at that point, that's when McCae Hillstead was inserted into the lineup. But it was also the time where Utah State could have cut that to 22-7 at that point, and perhaps with all that time remaining, could have chipped away at this and gotten back into the game.
Yeah, you had the ball at the 20-yard line. Cooper Legas throws the interception, and that and we'll talk to Blake Anderson, and I doubt that Blake will say anything officially tonight, I anticipate that Monday there'll probably be a larger announcement. But make no mistake, folks, McCae Hillstead, this is his team. He won over the locker room tonight. If you're an Aggie fan, he should have won you over tonight. And this is going to be his team. But we'll see. Coach has got big decisions to make. In my opinion, I think he showed a lot out there tonight. He played really darn good being thrown to the wolves like that up against a really good Air Force team. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But Coach Blake Anderson joins us right now. And, Coach, you hear all the time when you're playing Air Force and you're playing that team, if you can't stop the dive, it's going to be a long night. And they just seem to get you with that dive over and over tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what it averaged, but it would be a number that they like. I think we forced them to punt twice all night. Never really stopped them and like we needed to. And you add that with 2 turnovers on offense and really just our inability to sustain anything, especially early. And it's a recipe for a really frustrating, bad-looking night. And unfortunately, that's what we ended up with tonight.
I'm curious, before we talk about the move to McCae Hillstead, I'm curious your thoughts on the sluggish start. What do you think happened there? I mean, it even evidenced itself on the PAT, their first PAT, where you get the 2 offsides and they go for 2 and get it. Curious what you thought about the start.
And it wasn't good. We go out 3 and out, and it looks bad. And then we punt it to them, and clearly they're coming right downhill at us and moving it at will. It's tough, and then you got the turnover. So I mean, it's rough first quarter. A lot of inexperienced guys, a lot of guys here for the first time, a lot of guys playing against the triple for the first time, and it showed. Just never ever mounted a stand in any capacity. And you're right. You go down there and the inexperience shows, and they end up letting them go for 2 because we can't be disciplined enough to stay on side. So a lot of frustration, as you can probably hear in my voice.
So let's talk about the decision after the interception. We saw you in a conversation with Cooper on the sideline, and all of a sudden McCae starts warming up on what the young man did, because I thought he stood in there, took a lot of blitzes. They disguised a lot of stuff, but for the most part, I thought he handled himself well.
Well, for a guy to only get 20% of the snaps during the week, I mean, really, we've been seeing him improve little by little. I know I talked to you guys just about his skill set. He's got the skill set to do what we need him to do. He has not been afraid of the moment. We've talked a lot about the possibility of, of him getting some snaps and getting some reps. And to be truthful, just the decision, this is not a one-night decision. This has been ongoing since fall camp and scrimmages and in the Iowa game. And I know it was a little bit masked last week because Idaho State just wasn't much of a threat, but even in last week's game, just felt like the Coop's struggling to make the decision and pulled the trigger. The sack, fumble, ball should have already been out. The guy was open. We ran that same concept a little bit later, and McCae pulled the trigger, and we threw a completion to Terrell. The interception, that guy was his read, and it was a clear picture, and he just was indecisive. So for whatever reason, he just struggled a little bit to get calmed down in the pocket and make decisions the way we need him to. And I don't know, just years of experience of seeing it. Feel like that the move to McCae gives us the best chance tonight, and I thought he did a really, really good job. To be fair to Coop, as I just said to the people inside, I want to watch it. I want to be analytical about it. I want to be really fair to Coop. But I knew tonight it was time to make the adjustment, and I was fairly pleased with how McCae played. It was not perfect. He did not see some things that he needs to see, but considering the amount of snaps, or the least amount of snaps he's had, he honestly handled himself extremely well.
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up, Coach. Is that you know that you're doing something right when they start at the end of the third and into the fourth, start bringing blitzes off the edge and from the safeties and the middle backers and trying to show the young man some different looks. And I thought his ability to move in the pocket a little bit and also find some creases. He showed a lot of moxie there as a freshman.
Yeah, and that's why we recruited him. We watched him play a ton of games and offered him really early in the process and battled Washington State to get him, and we're super excited to get him. You don't ever want to throw a guy out when he's not ready, and I've had conversations with him like, if this happens, do you want this? Are you ready for this? And clearly, he stepped up and said yes. Now, this is a tough environment to do it. I agree. They started throwing pressure at him later as the game went on. We knew that we could throw and catch in space if we could protect and we could see the right things. And so in that sense, I mean, he did. He missed some pressures that he should have picked up and had protected. But when he did what he's really had an opportunity to do, he was able to deliver the ball, work through his progressions, get it to the right folks, and as you said, move the chains with his feet a little bit. And I was pleased. I mean, that's a lot to ask of a guy. I thought he did a good job. He didn't turn it over, and he didn't panic. So to me, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Is this a decision you're going to want to make pretty quick next week, just so the team can settle in and realize who their guy's going to be going into James Madison?
Yeah, I don't want to prolong this. Out of respect for everybody, out of respect for Coop and what he's done, and Levi, and then just the team. I want to get back, sleep on it, watch it, really dissect it, to make sure that what I saw on the field, what we saw from the box, and what I see on tape, that they all match up. And if those things match up, we'll move forward with McCae. If I was wrong, I'll step up and say I was wrong. And it wasn't necessary to change. That there were other issues that we got to fix. But I want to be very fair to the process. I think Coop deserves that. And the team. But yes, the team needs to know how we're moving forward, because there's a lot of really, really tough games, and we want to win some games. This is not an experiment, man. We want to do what's best for our team to be able to win. And I feel like tonight that was McCae going in, and that may very well be the case for the future.
Let me change gears just a little bit, Coach. You started with a three-headed monster at running back, and down Briggs tonight, and then Devon Booth. What's the status there, getting injured there in the second quarter?
Well, that was a violent collision down there on the goal line, as you guys saw. And he got his bell rung pretty good. I would say probably concussion protocol would be my guess based off what little bit I heard tonight. We don't want to rush to judgment on that. Sometimes you just need to sit back and let his body respond. But he wasn't available to go back. And we'll get Briggs back. Brazil's doing a good job. He's still learning as he goes, and we'll fill in. But we're going to need them all, as you know.
Yeah. What's your message when a team is really overly physical and frankly, on the offensive side, dominant at the line of scrimmage tonight? What do you say to those guys in the locker room to try to get themselves in the right mindset to move on from a game like this and get ready for, again, a gauntlet of games coming up here in the next stretch?
Yeah, I told them real clearly, man, how you respond in adversity is way more important than how you respond when you're scoring 78 points and high-fiving all over the place. I mean, I told them reality's setting in this week. That was a fun game, and I'm glad we had it, and we needed it, but at the end of the day, it didn't mean a whole lot. What matters is how we respond. This is a brutal stretch of really good football teams, starting with this one, and how we respond in the face of adversity right now is all that matters. And we got a lot of new dudes that got to grow up. We got guys that need to step up and be leaders. Coaching staff got to do a better job as well, everybody included. We knew this was possible. We knew this was going to be a grind, and we're going to find out exactly what we're made of, and that's the challenge. All I ask is your very best. Nothing more, nothing less. Just be your very best, on, off the field, in studying film, practices, weight room, you name it, man. Just give me your very best, and we'll live with the result. And hopefully we can speed the learning curve up a little bit. But right now you're seeing an inexperienced team trying to figure out who they are in a pretty tough environment.
You talked about the need to steal a possession. What's it like as a play caller over there on offense when they're cutting 6 and 8 and 10 minutes off the clock?
Well, that's frustrating, but at the same time, I was just as frustrated how we were performing on offense. We just weren't doing much in any phase. I mean, everybody's got to pull their weight. Yeah, we got to get stops. When we get the ball, we got to move the chains and finish in the end zone. And I know we scored a few times later in, as things progressed, but we did not give ourselves a chance early and dug a hole, and that's it is a frustrating night all around. Nothing was good. We did not perform well in any phase. We got a ton to work on, and so frustration is probably just the best answer for the night altogether.
Coach, we appreciate your time and look forward to catching up with you again on Monday.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. Blake Anderson, head coach at Utah State. I think that's the right way to handle it, Kevin. Like, hey, I'm going to take some time. We're going to dissect this thing. I'm going to watch the film. I think emotionally, where he's at right now. I think he said so, like he liked the way he performed. But owing it to Cooper Legas and the rest of this offense, I'm going to go back. I'm going to look at the film and take my emotions out of it, dissect it, and then make an announcement early next week.
He also did say that, I want to make sure that what my eyes saw is what we see on film, and which tells me that he saw enough there that he can kind of lean in terms of where he might go with this. But I love the answer to give Coop that respect, because Coop has done a lot for this program, and you may need Coop, and so you got to keep him engaged. If he is the backup going forward, you got to keep him engaged and keep him confident, and because he's been in that spot before and he's helped you in so many different situations.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for us for Falcon Stadium. Big thanks to everyone who joined us on our post-game show. Big thanks to you for listening. For those listening up at KVNU in Logan, the post-game show there will continue on, as you'll hear Al Lewis continue to break this one down as Utah State suffers a tough one tonight, 39-21. Thanks for listening. This is Aggie football from Learfield.
The game is over, and now KVNU Aggie Game Day continues with Aggie Call, the complete recap on all the action of your Utah State Aggies. We want your comments and questions about today's game. The phone line is 435-753-KVNU. The text line is 435-339-0321. Plus, more interviews and insights are coming as we break down the Aggie action with you and the Aggie Nation. Aggie Game Day is brought to you by Jarek's Fine Jewelry, Les Olson IT, Adams Wealth Advisors, DD Auto and Salvage, LSS Insurance Agency, Cache Valley Ear, Nose and Throat, Cafe Sabor, Beezer Lock and Key, Advanced Heating and Air, The Sportsman. It's KVNU Aggie Call with Al Lewis and Eric Franson.
And tonight with Ryan Boehm again, the former Utah State running back, and Utah State does lose to Air Force. They got down 29-0 in this game before they scored, and then it was just a matter of, could they get back into the game? They did not. They had maybe a little bit of opportunity, but again, the quarterback switch already in the first half by Coach Blake Anderson. He just talked about it there. Aggies were down 29-0, had just thrown an interception, had also had a fumble in the game, and it was just not a good performance by Cooper Legas tonight, and so the quarterback change happened, and we saw a freshman record as far as the best freshman performance by a quarterback since, I think it was Darryl Garrettson for Utah State in 2013 for yards. Ryan Boehm with us. Eric Franson is here, and the text line is 339-0321. Phone number is 753 KVNU 5868. Ryan just got off of the football field. He's been watching the game, keeping track of the Aggie game tonight. This Aggie game's disappointing tonight, but you saw a heck of a game, you saying.
Man, Skyview Bear River went down to the very last play. Skyview kind of tried to give that one away, but, give some credit to Bear River for coming back and ended on a failed 2-point conversion, so the Bobcats are still undefeated there.
But, again, in this game tonight, I think we saw an Aggie team last week that we thought was maybe going to be able to offensively do something in this game. They get the ball to start the game. Only 2 incompletions for Legas the whole time he played against Idaho State last week. He throws an incompletion, pressured on the first play of the game. He gets a tip ball. They punt the ball. He comes back in. He gets tackled on a quarterback read and loses yardage, and then they strip the ball from him, a fumble. The next time out, it's a 3-and-out. He ran one time in there with a couple incompletions. Then he throws the interception after 2 23-yard passes, and you're thinking, okay, throws the interception, and then Coach makes a change. That's a pretty fast change for Blake Anderson for sure.
Yeah, I think that change has been in the works, and I mean, Coach mentioned it. This is something that's been building for months apparently, and I think it's a good move. For whatever reason, Cooper is struggling to read the field. He's this offense requires that the ball comes out on time. And if you hesitate for half a second, it's going to get tipped. You're going to get guys in the passing lanes. You can't second guess. And he doesn't look comfortable back there right now, and he's not seeing the field very well. So, McCae came in, and, man, kudos to a freshman who comes in that scenario and just starts slinging the ball around and looked really good. So
overthrowing his first pass, as you might expect, and then a 20-yarder to Royal right after that. How about that? Royals caught the 20-yarder. And you watched the whole game with me, Eric, tonight. There's a lot of disappointment for Utah State, but I guess if we're going to start off with a positive, we go with him. Micah Davis going back against Air Force. He can't win the game. He lost the game when he played great against the Aggies a couple years ago, but he performed pretty well tonight too.
Sure, yeah. I think there's some bright spots that you can take from this. certainly the McCae Hillstead. I know when he came in, a lot of folks on social media are like, "Hey, why is he coming in? Why are they sending the true freshman in there instead of Levi Williams? If you're going to make a change, go with a more experienced guy." But Hillstead, he executes the offense how Blake Anderson wants it done better than Levi Williams does. If you want a big quarterback who can muscle his way for a few yards, Levi Williams is probably your guy. And they inserted him when they got down to the goal line, though eventually they pulled him and put Hillstead in and got the touchdown. But Hillstead, we saw him a little bit in the fall. We saw him against Idaho State. He just looks a little bit more comfortable and slings the ball cleaner and makes decisions quicker. So is it the Hillstead era? Did it start tonight? I don't know, but it's certainly looking like it's headed in that direction.
It certainly did look that way, and they still did bring in Levi Williams to try to be the bigger back at the goal line, and that didn't even work.
Yeah.
And so eventually they needed Hillstead to come in, throw the touchdown pass to Vaughns on the little screen, the slip screen.
Yeah, just a lot quicker decision-making, a much cleaner ball, sharper, on point to where it needs to go. It looks good from McCae Hillstead. Look, Cooper Legas is a great athlete, but you can tell he just takes a little bit more time to make a decision what he wants to do, and Blake Anderson's not standing for it, and he needs a good quick decision-making quarterback. It's all about timing. You got to make a decision and go. And Cooper's won the Aggies several games as a quarterback,
including a big bowl game,
including a game last year against Air Force when he came in, but it's not quite working as well as Blake wants, and thank goodness you got a guy like Hillstead in your stable to throw out there. So, yeah, it's a loss, and that's frustrating, especially how the game got started. But things got a little bit better as the game went on when they started to make some adjustments and change some personnel.
Yeah, it was kind of like the Iowa game at the start, how quickly they grabbed a 2-touchdown lead, and you're thinking, okay, let's respond. We did not. We went down 3 touchdowns, and then we finally, we get the interception, then we're down 4 touchdowns, and again, that's what kind of built into the Utah State loss tonight. And there's some defensive things we got to talk about as well. We'd love to hear from you. It is your show, after all. That's what we do here after the game, is give you the interactive opportunity. Call 753-KVNU-5868, or you can text 339-0321. We are brought to you in part by Les Olson IT. Just remind you, everything from copiers to outsourced IT services, Les Olson, really, they can help your business. And Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Jarek's loves to have people come in and browse around, make a wish list. Always make it special, make it Jarek's. We'll continue with more with you. And again, that text line's available, and we'll get to that in just a moment or two and more with Ryan and with Eric and myself, Al Lewis here. And we'd love to have you join with us, but the Aggies lose the conference opener at Air Force.
Do you have a backup generator, or have you explored the options of adding one to your home? Generac backup generators will keep your home or business safe and cool during the summer months if the power goes out. Do you already have a system? Golden Spike Electric can service it for you. If you don't have one, Golden Spike Electric can find the right model for your needs. Find them online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. Golden Spike Electric and Generac, power you can count on.
Security. It's the most precious thing you can give your home, especially if it's guaranteed. No cheap locks, no weak keys, no inadequate hardware, just the expertise and precision and security. Beazer Lock and Key believes there's no place like a safe home, and no home safer than one secured by them. It may seem they only sell locks and keys, but what they really sell is peace of mind. Search Beazer Lock and Key, or go to 4th North and 1st West and just add confidence.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Medicare can seem complicated, but it doesn't have to be. Let us help. We'll answer all your questions and get you specific information that fits your needs. Medicare is not one size fits all. We'll help you find the right coverage for you. Call 752-9493. You can ignore the TV and the junk mail. We'll get you the exact information you need. We will help you access the benefits that are important to you. Call LSS Insurance at 752-9493.
Clean it up and get it out this fall.
Don't wait another winter. Let DD Auto and Salvage pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junk or vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan want to pay you today. Search DD Auto and Salvage today or call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204.
See store for details.
Covering Aggie football like no one else does. News Talk KVNU Logan, 102 FM and 610 AM. The home for USU Aggie fans. The Aggies are always number one here. It's KVNU Game Day with the voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis, Eric Frenson, and Ryan Bone.
Well, we appreciate you joining with us as well, your show. And Ryan and Eric are here with me, Al Lewis. And again, 39-21 if you're just tuning in. Air Force leads the whole way, jumped up quick and early. And like we said, your show is here. So the text line's available at 339-0321. That's 435-339-0321. And I understand, Eric, we can start right there with something.
Yeah, I got a couple texts that have come through. 5452. Text again saying that Scotty G kept saying the Hillstead era is here. Do you think Hillstead will start next week? He played well, much more decisive than Legas. Would be nice if the offensive line could give Hillstead or any quarterback a few seconds of protection in the pocket.
Tonight, Air Force did light them up. They went after right from the start. That very first pass, as we said, was pressured. Gone first down when they're at the 25-yard line, and you're thinking, okay, they might run, they might pass, or whatever. Air Force brought the guys and made him throw the ball quickly, for sure. So they did light him up tonight. But
that offensive line thing was rough today.
You played football enough, Ryan. It would be hard for them to all of a sudden now turn around and come back to Legas next week, the way it was tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Coach played coy, talking about I got to go back and look at the film and everything else. But no, it's going to be Hillstead moving forward. Coach will announce that on Monday, and it's his team at this point. And I think that's good. You need to give the team direction. The guys, he needs to get the reps because you believe James Madison's going to try and light him up too. They're going to bring pressure, and he needs to be ready for that. So he's going to get 80% of the reps. And, I hope, and I think he will. Cooper, I think, is the type of guy who will accept this and learn from it. And
he looked very positive on the sidelines trying to help. And
keep working hard. And because the reality is, even if the Hillstead era is here, he's going to get dinged up at some point in a game, or he's going to make some mistakes, and Coop's going to need to step in and take us on a drive or two or finish a game or something like that. So hopefully he looks at this and just accepts it and continues to work hard. And, we move forward with a new starting quarterback.
It's a pretty crazy experience for your backup quarterbacks.
It is. Yep. How it's all happened.
It
continues to kind of be this Utah State way. This, the quarterback thing's kind of upheaval after, again, for the most part, he got through the year with Bonner, and then his first year with the championship year. And then, though, it was Legas who came in and saved the bowl game when it looked like we were in real trouble and things like that, too.
Experience is nice. Mm-hmm. But talent always trumps experience. It should, at least. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what Blake Anderson's trying to discover here.
And we were just discussing it in the other room when we were watching the game. A year ago right now, it could be that's when McCae Hillstead was hurt because he was at Skyridge, and he got hurt sometime during the season in his senior year, came back and helped them win at the end of the year. But I think for part of the year, he was out a little bit with an injury last year, as I remember the story.
No, I think that's right. Yeah.
So now here he is. He came in for spring football, remember, took his team to the championship, and then comes in for spring football. And
found a way to graduate high school early to get on campus in January. And, wow, what a great benefit that's proven to be.
And now he's here. I think, what was it, Boise State? Washington State, I think, was the other one that was really recruiting him at the battle when it ended up there. Okay, anything else?
A couple of the texts coming through. 9315 texting in. Why is it I can do great at protecting Aggie basketball scores and win, but football I fall on my face? This game helped me understand how important your quarterback is for USU. Okay. It's true. 5338 texting in. Blake needs to figure out a way to get his team ready to play from the opening whistle. They seem to leave their game in the locker room to begin the game and can't get anything going until the second quarter.
Remember the best team he had? We were behind double digits in almost every one of those games. And you know, we got down to Iowa right off the bat. We get down to these guys right off the bat tonight. We never really recovered in this game at all. It didn't have the same feel as the Iowa game to me. From what was going on the field and what was happening, you just never felt like we were putting up the fight in this game. There's the biggest stat I saw tonight. We had 1 tackle for a loss on defense. Now, Air Force runs a lot of dive plays that are into the line and makes it hard, but they'll run some quarterback keepers where he goes to the outside, or they'll run some things. We had 1 time, and that was a quarterback sack, I think, was the only
it was a sack
by Joyce. I think that was it.
Penetration.
That was this team defensively, Ryan, the way it's designed, has to be disruptive and making individual type plays, and they missed a heck of a lot of tackles too in this game. But Ike Larson had 11, I think I saw as the highest tackler tonight. Yeah,
it was rough up front. I mean, you don't want your safety to have 11 tackles against Air Force. That's a bad sign.
That's exactly what Air Force would love to have too.
And your free safety too. So I mean, if his heels are at 10 yards pre-snap and he has 11 tackles, that's really bad.
And it seemed like at the end of the game, I saw him, he didn't even have his pads on at the end of the game when they were going off the field and shaking hands. So I think he'd already gone out of the game and felt like he'd had enough at one particular point there, too.
It's hard to blame him. No, you're right. You never want your safety to lead the team in tackles. That's not a good sign. But you look,
Zach Vigil once had 22 or 24 tackles against Air Force, the middle linebacker.
Well, that's
stopping the
that
dive
Air
play.
Force front. I mean, it's just full of seniors.
But
that Utah
they're
State
not
defense
huge.
is full of sophomores and freshmen, or new players at this level of play. So that was one of my big worries coming into this game. Is just so many guys on that roster, including coaching staff. They're not ready for what Air Force is going to bring them.
Okay, so I'll ask you the football question because I'm not a football guy. Why can Air Force run the ball right at you when you know they're running it right at you?
It's the blocking scheme. It's unlike anything else that you see. There's no other team. You don't practice it. No, I mean, other than a triple option team, no one else runs the same scheme. So it's hard to understand, and because no one else runs it, you can't even simulate it. So even in practice, it's like you don't want to block like this. You're going to blow your own guys' knees out and stuff. It's just all cut blocking. It's all down blocking. They hit you so fast. You have to be so disciplined. And so it's this kind of an anomaly type thing that it's extremely hard to defend. And it's obvious because they do it every single week to every team. It doesn't matter who they play. They're going to run the ball for 350 yards. You just hope you outscore them and maybe they turn it over. And they just didn't make any mistakes today. And obviously we didn't put the ball in the end zone nearly enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, struggle. It was a struggle bus, as some people like to say.
They've won 17 consecutive games, Air Force has, if they get 2 turnovers. And they got 2 right off the bat in this game and took it over.
Another text coming through, 4151, asking, what did you think of our defensive line tonight? How can we improve there?
See, and that's the one thing I think, hey, how can you hold Iowa, who's got the greatest offensive lineman in America most years, to 88 yards rushing, and then that's kind of goes with my question you just answered, I guess, Ryan, about how
I don't worry about it too much against Air Force, right? So
they've had 400 against us and we've won the game before running the ball.
Honestly, you just flush this thing down the toilet, get on to the next game. Like, you can't read too much into Air Force. Honestly, again, like I said last week, I was hoping we would squeak one out by 1 point and nobody got injured and I would be throwing a party. They came in, kicked our butt, is what it is. Next. If we sit and ruminate on this and try and figure out, all these, we just didn't. It's like we won't see another team that's anything like them, and so just get on with it.
Okay.
A couple more texts coming through. Let's go to 9310. Quarterback change is a fun discussion, but our defense was manhandled by a smaller team. Looked timid and confused.
It just didn't have the look of everything like it was really all there. We didn't see, Hale Motuapuaka up front. We mentioned we didn't hardly ever hear his name mentioned. We saw him out there, but he didn't make many tackles. It was all defensive backs and safeties and things like that making tackles as well. Just didn't have it.
Right. It seemed like they were always on their heels reacting rather than affecting the game with their own pressure and intensity.
And they came out and faced a 12-play drive after it was a 3-and-out for our offense to start the game. But then they had to come out and defend from the 11-yard line after the fumble and could not do that. And then the next series goes, they get that 49-yard pass play. Here's the running play, and then all of a sudden they've thrown 6 passes all year long, and they hit us. Ryan, we see that every time we play Air Force. With a pass, all of a sudden some guy over the middle and nobody's with him.
Oh, it's so frustrating. I understand that you get lulled to sleep, 15 straight runs, and these safeties want to come downhill. Totally get it, but it is really frustrating when, the guy that can barely throw the ball, hits 2 passes for 100 yards. It's like, come on.
They threw for 84, and they were pretty. We only rushed for 86 our whole game, so that was kind of a wash there.
What was the stat at the end of the first quarter?
We had 0 yards.
Is 153 to 0?
Yes,
total yards.
That's what it was in the first quarter. We had and they listed us as having a -6 passing, which I think really has to be rushing because it was a ball was knocked away and it was a fumble and things like that. I don't think you can call that
there's some negative
pass. Yeah,
but right. I mean, to this one texture's point that 153 to 0, the 2 turnovers, the quick scores in the first quarter. It was a really slow start for USU, and that team, they settled in a little bit and started to figure it out. Then you make a quarterback change. There's a few things but still, Utah State was just always playing from behind here and just never felt like they were in control.
We kind of played Iowa toe-to-toe after we were down. We didn't do that, and I didn't ever feel like this.
Great example.
I didn't
against Iowa, slow start, but eventually it's a pretty back and forth, pretty competitive game. This one, Hillstead comes in, and the Aggies at least find the end zone, but it still felt like this was Air Force's game. From start to finish.
And they had not played particularly well offensively at all in their first. They beat Robert Morris 42-7, but they didn't feel it was great offensively, and they didn't do anything against Sam Houston much offensively. But their defense has been really good, and we saw that tonight. They're a pretty good defense at Air Force for sure. They are
very good. 9315 texting in. Why can't we stop the dive? In some of the games we win against Air Force, we still have a hard time with the dive.
Well, that's the thing. That's their play, and they're going to run it until you do stop it, and most teams don't.
Yeah, they run it better than anybody in the world. They're going to get 4 or 5 yards. Our issue was we didn't contain it to 4 or 5 yards. They were getting 8 or 9, and then when they're in second and short, they're unstoppable because they can run every single thing they have. We really never got them in 3rd and long.
Yeah.
You have
never got them off schedule.
You've got to get a stop early. You've got to string it out on the pitch and get them into 3rd and 8, get them into a down where they have to pass, or their 6 or 7 yard runs don't get them first downs. But when you get 7 or 8 on first down, which they did all night, they're unstoppable.
They were 9 for 13 on 3rd downs. See, so you do that, and all you have to do is think about this: if they run the dive play, and if they get 4 yards, then they get 4 yards. They get first down with 3 or 4 yards, and they'll just keep running at you. That's all you have to do. They'll keep the ball and keep moving.
I noticed on the very first play, number 20, one of our safeties, I can't remember what his name is. He had the dive guy, and they gave it to him, and he ran right by him, and I was like, uh-oh. I'm like, here we go. Very first play, they run dive. Our guy runs right by him. He was in the hole. He literally ran right by him. I'm like, we're in trouble.
That was Cole Joyce, the starting inside linebacker tonight.
Okay. I'm like,
who actually played.
We're in trouble.
He had 11 tackles too, I think, in the game. And he got the only sack. He got the only sack of the game tonight. Okay, we need to take another break. We still have plenty of opportunities for you to call in or text in. We're just getting started here as the Aggies lose to Air Force 39-21, the first conference game of the year. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic Hearing Aid Center, now located in North Logan and in Providence. Remember, from runny nose, itchy eyes, to seasonal allergies, careful control of serious food and drug allergies and even headaches and migraines. CashValleyENT.com. And DD Auto and Salvage. They'll pick up and haul away your junk or metal. No job is too big for them. It's 787-1204 for DD Auto and Salvage, bringing you game day as we continue here on KVNU. The Aggies, again, lose to Air Force.
If cost is preventing you from calling an attorney after your accident, you can stop worrying now. You can call the Advocates and discuss your case with an experienced Cache Valley attorney at no cost to you. At the Advocates, when we say you pay zip, nil, nothing, we mean it. Our consultations are free and we don't get paid unless we win your case. Let us be your advocate and we will fight for the settlement you deserve without you ever opening your wallet. Call 801-355-5550 or chat online at utahadvocates.com.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic and Hearing Aid Center are located in North Logan in the Three Peaks Medical Plaza and Providence on Gateway Drive. Doctors Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette and staff have over 75 years of combined medical experience, providing the very best patient care for ear, nose, and throat conditions. Most insurance products, including SelectMed, are accepted. Go to CacheValleyENT.com. That's CacheValleyENT.com for appointments and details. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, located in North Logan and Providence.
Hello, I'm Ashley Nate, Operations Manager at Cache Valley Bank. My calm and caring personality combined with my quick problem-solving skills help me provide my customers with the personalized attention and exceptional service they deserve. And I look forward to providing you with that same experience. Come visit the Preston branch and ask for Ashley or give me a call to see what opening an account with Cache Valley Bank can do for you. I look forward to meeting you. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, this is Gene Needham of SC Needham Jewelers. I would like to welcome all USU students back to Logan. Perhaps this is the year you'll get engaged. Thousands of Aggies have shopped our store over the past century. We are Utah's oldest jewelry store. My children, Sylvan, JD, Elizabeth, Stuart, and Stratford represent our fifth generation of jewelers. When choosing a ring, visit our website at scneedham.com or simply visit our store in downtown Logan, where Utah gets engaged. SC Needham Jewelers, middle of the block at the sign of the clock.
This Aggie broadcast is brought to you by DD Auto and Salvage. No job is too small or too large. On News Talk KVNU, covering Utah State sports like no one else.
Hey, always we do our Beezer Lock and Key lock of the game. We talk about that pregame, and they're experts in securing and locking down your home, business, and auto. This is all they do, and they do it better than anyone else. And we were, again, saying that I talked to so many people who supposedly were football knowledgeable, and they thought Utah State as a 9-point underdog was a heck of a bet. They thought that that was the way to go, the way they saw the Aggies play last week, and we saw right from the start that was different. So we said maybe that could be a lock. No first half points. I thought the Aggies would score. They barely did in the first half to get points. That's the first half points Air Force has given up this year. And Blake Anderson's teams have been able to score. They've been able to move the ball, and they've been +1 in the turnovers against Air Force both of those last 2 years. And I mentioned that Air Force, if they get 2 turnovers, they win. So those are some of the locks we talked about before the game. But I thought the Aggies need to get more big plays. They had 6-4 explosives, I think, in the game over the Air Force offense. But, again, could not give them a mistake, a turnover that gave them the short field to let them go with their long deals. And that's what turned the game early to 15-0 was that deal. So that kind of checks our Beezer Lock and Key. What about the high school scores tonight? Besides 39-21 here, Air Force beating the Aggies. Eric?
We had some doozies. As Ryan was there at the Skyview.
He told us that was a heck of a game.
Checking 2 games at once. Skyview beating Bear River 35-34. It's almost a repeat of what happened a week ago. Bear River scores late. Goes for
that was like Ridgeline and Skyview last week.
Get down to the wire.
Yeah.
A blocked field goal near the end, but Skyview wins. Ridgeline and Green Canyon. Ridgeline had the upper hand for much of the game, and then Green Canyon started to mount to come back and make it interesting. But Ridgeline pulls out the victory 31-21, and Mountain Crest just had their way with Logan all night long, and they just run roughshod 61-7 over the Grizzlies tonight.
So those are all homecoming games for all the teams who did win on their homecomings.
Yes.
Skyview barely holding on to win theirs. So there's your scoreboard update. And remember, Daryl's Appliance, they have their no-risk extended warranty. If you don't use your extended warranty after 5 years, they're going to give you your money back. Their warranties cover it all, and there's no crazy pop-ups or crazy copays that come up. It's Daryl's on Airport Road. So Al Lewis, Ryan Bohm, Ryan, and Eric Franson here with us. And we'd love to have you join with us with a phone call or with a text after the Aggie games here. Again, after you listened to it, watched it, Robert Turbin doing it on TV, the former Aggie Hall of Famer, tried to, you could tell he was kind of excited about a few things, but boy, it turned fast against the Aggies, and he had to be very complimentary, and he was. And Air Force definitely had their best game of the season. They've had 2 wins before, but that was a nice win for them tonight to win. And they hadn't beaten the Aggies the last 2, and they hadn't been very good at openers in the conference. They'd gone 2-10 after they won their first 10 or 11 ever in the Mountain West Conference, but they turned the tables tonight and beat the Aggies.
Yeah, Turbin took to social media saying that he had fun calling the game, but or being at a Mountain West game for his alma mater, but it was a rough night. He tried to make it as positive as he could.
Well,
it was a struggle.
The first time 2 running backs, but you know what? Wyoming got 2 guys over 100 against us last year running the ball when we had the game with Wyoming last season. So, we were 113th in the nation against the run, and I wanted to see better. And I still feel like this team can be better than the last year's team rushing defense. But tonight, again, Air Force ended up with 344 yards, which is a little more than they'd averaged, and I think they were second in the nation coming into this game running the ball.
Yeah.
They won the rushing title 3 consecutive years, and they have not been in the top 10 in rushing in college football in the last 30 years. There hasn't been a year that they haven't been at least in the top 10.
Yeah, always near the top. 5452 texting in. Do we know anything about Switzer? Did he even play in the first quarter?
See, I don't know about that, because I remember I said I hadn't even noticed him, and all of a sudden I saw him make a tackle or 2, but I don't know if he was in there right at the start of the game. We'll have to see the final. They usually put out the starting lineups at the end of the game or mention how many guys started and things like that, so I don't know if he started or not.
I'm not sure. If he didn't start, I don't know why, but he did get in the game, so it wasn't an injury.
And it wasn't
that held him out.
And either that or it's said to be some kind of discipline or something going on there.
Yeah. 6021 texting in. I don't think Coop should be calling plays. It's a distraction.
So are they talking about
from the sideline?
Maybe he was eventually when he was out. I didn't notice. Usually they've been using Josh Davis, who was the one who collapsed, has been sending in some of the plays. Maybe they used a couple guys to try to disguise something or something. I don't know. Maybe the backup quarterbacks have to do that. Sometimes, Ryan, backup quarterbacks do call in plays or signal them.
He says coach. Sorry, corrected. I don't think coach should be calling plays. It's a distraction.
Oh, but he's decided to take it over, and that's where he feels more comfortable. At least he's kind of said that.
And he's been successful at it before. So this isn't like some coach with an ego, like I'm going to step in because I'm the best at this. He's got experience being the offensive coordinator and the head coach, and he's had success doing it. And I don't think it's that big of a distraction. I don't think it's a bad thing.
We'll have to wait and see what the results
it's a little
are.
early to tell.
Ryan, there had to be something last year. By the end of the year, he did make the change with the offensive coordinator. He didn't like all the turnovers and something that was going on, or the coaching towards a lot of the mistakes. That's the big thing he talked about.
Yeah,
last year. We led the nation in interceptions last year.
So far, I've been pleased with play calling. I think we've been, doing some more interesting things and moving the ball around. And so, there's look at the NFL. There's a lot of head coaches that call the plays there and are very successful at it. So I don't have a problem if the play calling, continues to be unique and spreading the ball around and taking advantage of things. I don't care who's calling it. And really, the head coach many times during the game is just kind of walking around yelling at the refs. So the fact that he's engaged actually, calling the offense, that's better if he's the most qualified guy to do it. So I'm okay with it.
Okay. All right. A couple more texts coming in. 9315 saying that team down south would be yelling, fire the coach with the season we're having right now. I say with all the new guys, give it time. Now, if we only have one win, then we need a new coach. Thought on our defensive coordinator, though, after 3 games.
I was very positive about what I was seeing from our Aggie defense. I mean, even though they did give up the 4 scores to Idaho State, I think they made them kind of earn it and do some things for it. I thought our defense, and then tonight was just all of a sudden just disappointed again that we didn't seem to have a way of stopping the dive play at 4 or 5 yards and make it a little more interesting rather than they were getting 8 or 9, it seemed like most of the time of the dive play. The 2 guys between them, they ended up with 216 yards rushing, and their averages were what you got the averages there in front of them. The 2 running backs for Air Force, the Burke and Michelle make it. Do you have that there, Ryan, in front of your screen? I don't have the screen.
I know
total running yards.
For 100.
What did they average? The two running backs, the fullbacks.
Burke averaged 7.3, and Michelle averaged 3.8.
He only averaged 3.8. He carried the ball a lot.
28 carries for 106 yards.
But he did score the 3 touchdowns. He got a little more of the tougher yardage.
His longest yard was 8.
No, in the whole night. But okay, so
yes.
But that's the only thing on the defensive side there. So
yeah, I'm trying to withhold judgment with
you
Air Force.
can't judge this game.
No,
yeah.
No,
okay.
you can't. And even though we did play better after the first quarter, and so I have to give it to him that he's making adjustments, and we seem to be responding.
After the team score the first time they get it or whatever.
Now we can't keep
us,
giving up 14 points right out of the gates. We're not going to win football games if we do that. But, I think now if James Madison comes out and scores 21 points in the first quarter, then we're going to have a different conversation.
And what I've heard, I haven't delved into them, but they were a really good FCS team that's gone to FBS and made some noise. What was it? Virginia was playing Maryland tonight, and they were scoring a little bit against them the last time I saw that score, and they beat Virginia at the start of the game, the season. James Madison did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, at Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Another text coming through. This is from 6543. How do we overcome the slow start syndrome we seem to be in? Can't do this every game and be successful.
It's just, the Blake Anderson, what is it now? Of the 12 of the 18 that he's won, I think we've come from behind to have to win.
Well, added up for this season alone, and what Iowa did in the first quarter, what Air Force did in the first quarter.
And of 7-7, Idaho State, Utah State.
Idaho State even had a little bit of success in the first quarter. Yeah, this Aggie team is habitually a little bit late to the party.
So far.
4151 texting in, do you predict us beating James Madison? What do we need to work on the most this week to prepare for them?
See, I have not really started to look at James Madison at all individually or what they do, but I just know their reputation is that you better be ready to play. And I know the next game after that, Connecticut, I think everybody thinks that Coach Mora will do better. And he didn't have a very good first game. I remember they played somebody and got beat pretty badly, it seemed like, in their first game when I thought they'd be better. So, I don't know exactly what to face in the next little while. So.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think that these next 2 games on the schedule are competitive games that could be coin flip games.
If we're gonna
should go in Utah State's favor.
If we're going to be a bowl type team and have a chance to at least have a winning record and things, you're going to have to win these next 2 games probably.
Agree.
Yeah,
totally agree.
Okay. Anything else there for Night Down?
No.
Okay, let's take another break, and then it's still your show here on this Friday night. It's Friday night at football. High schools are done now with their games, and the Aggies are done. They lost to Air Force if you're just tuning in, 39-21. Number 1 in the nation will be here tomorrow. We'll talk about that, too, in our next segment. Hey, it's myAegis.com is their website. They go above and beyond with passionate care with the core values of character, experience, and trust. So you can experience Aegis Home Health and Hospice, 723-9000. And tonight, I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed the Riverwoods Conference Center and Elements Restaurant down there this evening. Your events can always be great there. It's terrific for conferences and weddings and receptions, but also great dinner for you at, again, Elements Restaurant down at Riverwoods Conference Center. It's part of our game day sponsorship of the Aggies here on KBNU Game Days. We started at 4 today, and we're still going now. Security. It's the most precious thing you can give your home, especially if it's guaranteed. No cheap locks, no weak keys, no inadequate hardware, just the expertise and precision and security. Beezer Lock & Key believes there's no place like a safe home, and no home safer than one secured by them. It may seem they only sell locks and keys, but what they really sell is peace of mind. Search Beezer Lock & Key or go to 4th North and 1st West and just add confidence.
Hi, my name is Chad Mangum from Aegis Home Health and Hospice. For the last 21 years, I've been providing nursing services to the community of Cache, Box Elder, and Rich counties. Aegis represents the breastplate of Zeus and is symbolic of being a protector of the community. At Aegis Healthcare, we know you will experience the difference. With our core values of character, experience, and trust, we know that we can meet any of your healthcare needs wherever you call home. Call us today at 723-9000 or check us out at myaegis.com.
You are the dancing queen.
Nothing better than a great song from 1976. Hi, this is Bob Larson with LSS Insurance, and I'm talking to you, graduating class of 76. Even if you're still working or getting ready to retire, Medicare is a conversation we need to have. Let us help you understand Medicare and all your options. Don't rely on TV ads or annoying phone calls. Having a local agent makes all the difference. Call LSS at 752-9493. Call 752-9493.
Talking about Aggie football like no one else can. KVNU Game Day is back.
I was just looking it up real fast, and I don't know specifics about all that, but in 2019, 14-2, then James Madison would have had one of those. I don't know if they played in 2020. Remember, a lot of the FCS teams didn't or played in the spring. And then in 2021, they were 12-2, and then they moved to Division I or FBS, and they went 8-3 last year. So that's the Dukes of James Madison coming here 6 o'clock next Saturday night. We'll know more, obviously, and fill you all in on game day going into that next Saturday night in the stadium, where the players really did respond to the herd and to the home crowd. They thought it was terrific all the way around, everybody in the stadium, and they really need that now after this one. Because, Ryan, you beat somebody by 50 points in football, and you kind of feel like, hey, we got a little bit of a swagger going here, and it went away really fast tonight. And that's hard to – sometimes that's kind of a hard deal to go through that kind of thing from one week to the next, too.
It is. That up and down is tough. Again, it's kind of why, I'm like, look, we just got to flush this one, get home, get healthy tomorrow, start watching film, and get on to the next one, not dwell on it too much.
Devon Booth took the head shot at the goal line trying to score on that one play. The Air Force guy got hurt as well. They hit helmet to helmet there, and he didn't return. Coach is thinking maybe concussion protocol. Robert Briggs, the coach said Monday he was hurt in the game against Idaho State, and he didn't know if he'd be able to play. He did not play in the game tonight. I don't know if I really know. Like I said, we were talking earlier about somebody else. I can't remember.
Tia was in the game today,
and he didn't play in the Idaho State game.
Week. Yeah.
But so Coach said in his interview that Briggs will be back next week, so it must have been something ankle, something like that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're looking for something positive in the game. Aggies only penalized 4 times for 17 yards.
And here's the number one team in the country for penalties was Air Force, and they had 6, and they helped us out.
Yeah, they did.
They helped us out in
they
that.
Kept a couple of drives alive.
And one of the fabulous individual plays that I've seen in a while was Micah Davis. That catch on the sideline, and they talked to him afterwards. He got bumped out of bounds by the defender. He got back, regained himself on the field, and got that one-hand catch on the sidelines. And unfortunately, he's able to catch the touchdown at the end of that series, too. He deserved it. He had over 100 and something yards of offense against the Aggies a couple of years ago playing for Air Force, and now he comes back in this game and he catches 4 for 80 yards, I think it was? Yeah, 4 for 84 and a touchdown tonight. He's a good player.
He's a real weapon. So versatile, and how they can use him in a lot of different ways. He's been a great addition for Utah State.
Vaughn still caught 6 passes in the game. The nation's leader. He may not be the leader now, but still he's going to have a healthy number. That's going to be up there right now through 3 games.
Yeah, and I also liked seeing Brock Lane, the tight end, getting involved, and he was a good safety valve, and he made some great plays for both Cooper Legas and McCae Hillstead on a couple different occasions.
How many times on the call-ins have we had lately involved? People are saying, why don't we use the tight end more?
Yes.
So we finally did. Brock Lane helped us out. He caught a 4th down play that kept a series going, a drive going that one time.
5633 chiming in. The secret of the dive? Air Force's offensive linemen keep pushing until the whistle blows. It's not very common at any level, and it allows their backs to keep going and fall forward even when you contact them at the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
You did see a lot of their drives.
So a lot of times you felt like it was
stopped. Like, they got to stop, but then they're still pushing, and they ended up getting sometimes 4 or 5 extra yards out of it.
Yeah, it's a testament to just the type of program they have, the kids that are there, the mentality. They know that they're going to be undersized. They know that, that their schedule's different than everybody else. They just have a different breed of player that goes to Air Force. And so every single one of them is going to be that type of guy that's going to go all the way to the whistle, extremely disciplined. Their entire offense are seniors. So it's like these guys for 5 years have been running this offense 1,000 times a day.
Yes.
Like their execution is unbelievable.
And they have to do that because they cannot get transfers. They do not have INL. Now, like the one guy told us, the cadets are actually paid a little bit by the government all of the time because they're kind of part of the Air Force. So they are paid somewhat and all that, but it's not like it's not like INL money or anything like that that some of these places are getting. So their advantage is they've got to do this and have this system that Mike Thiessen's been the 17-year offensive coordinator for. Troy Calhoun has been there 17 years doing this, and Fisher DeBerry kind of did it a little bit before too.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it's, they're just a different breed.
And Navy and Army kind of do the same thing too.
Totally. And the reality is, like, if you only had 10 plays in your offense, you'd be able to run them pretty well. And so you got to give it to them that these guys have 10 plays, and they're going to run them absolutely to perfection, and it's tough to stop. So, again, it's not like this is an anomaly. Like, there's other teams that stop them. No one stops them. It's just a matter of can you outscore them, and we just didn't do that tonight.
Aggies ended up with 300 yards. They had gone, what was it, the last 7 games, they hadn't given up 300 yards. We got 302 by the end of the game, so we did exceed that just a little bit as well as I look at that stat. So,
yeah, tough.
They've won 8 consecutive games now, going back to last year.
Air Force is tough. There were a lot of questions. There were some great talented players on that offense that had given Aggies fits and others throughout the Mountain West Conference, and they were going to be gone. And there were some questions, would they maybe take a step back a bit? But I don't think people talk enough about that defense for Air Force. The offense is so unique in how to prepare for it and how to attack it and how to stop it. Not enough people talk about that Air Force defense. Really stout, really aggressive,
that
really
Alec
strong.
Mock, he's a good player.
Heavens.
That
They
linebacker.
just make it
He's the one who stripped the ball from Legas on the one play. He had 11 tackles tonight. He can play. That guy's a really good linebacker inside.
Very good defense at Air Force.
Player. All right, let's take another break, and we're going to wind it up here, but we'd love to hear more from you because we'll stay on as long as you keep getting a hold of us at the text line at 435-339-0321, or you can call 753-KVNU. Game day continues on KVNU, and it's brought to you by LSS Insurance, 752-9493. They believe their job starts at LSS when you select one of their insurance plans. And My Mattress, again, now with 2 locations. They're at 981 South Marion, where they've been, and now 1950 North Main, next door to Red Balloon Toys, Northern Utah's representative for IntelliBed and Purple. My Mattress. And we'll be right back with more.
Clean it up and get it out this fall.
Don't wait another winter. Let DD Auto and Salvage pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junk or vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan want to pay you today. Search DD Auto and Salvage today or call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204.
See store for details.
Imagine your wedding day. Elegant, simple, yet stunning, stress-free. It's your day. It's all about you. Whether you're looking for small and simple or have a grander idea, the Riverwoods Conference Center will accommodate your every need. Choose the inside ballroom elegance or outside along the natural decor of the beautiful Logan River. A Riverwoods event planner will work personally with you to make sure your event is exactly how you've envisioned it. The Riverwoods Conference Center, where your happily ever after begins. Google Riverwoods Conference Center or call 750-5151.
Local sponsors of this Utah State Aggie broadcast are Daryl's Appliance, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, Golden Spike Electric, Alpine Home Medical, S.E. Needham Jewelers, My Mattress, Riverwoods Conference Center, Prodigy Brewing, The Advocates, Cache Valley Bank, and Aegis Healthcare. More interviews and insights are coming as we break down the Aggie action with you and the Aggie Nation on News Talk KVNU, the home of the Aggies.
Copiers, printers, service, and supplies are just the beginning. Les Olson IT is the premier source for your business's structured cabling, IT, software, telephones, and security systems. We partner with you to find the ideal solution to all of your office technology needs. Tell us your goals and we'll get you there. Find out more at lesolson.com.
Les Olson IT.
KVNU Game Day returns with the voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis, Eric Frenson, and Ryan Boehm.
start to finish, Air Force beats the Aggies. They're up 8-0 at the 7:02 mark. After a fumble recovered by Air Force, they score less than 2 minutes later to make it 15-0. Then Utah State, another 3-and-out offensively. They take a 22-0 lead. A 49-yard pass helped them out there. Then the Aggies get back-to-back 23-yard plays right starting the second quarter. But then at the 23-yard line of Air Force, Cooper Legas intercepted. So he had fumbled the ball and then had an interception. And Air Force went right in and scored, made it 29-0 with 11:15 to go. And after that, it was McCae Hillstead as quarterback for Utah State. First series in, he did have a 20-yard pass play. He had another deal where he went for about 10 yards, and there was some holding, eventually a screen pass. They didn't get quite there. They had to punt the ball. They tried to look like maybe they're going to go to a fourth down. Then, but the Aggies got a 3-and-out after that, and then they came back and moved the ball enough where they got it down with the help of a face mask penalty and some other penalty. I think there was one other penalty. Vaughn caught a 1-yard screen pass after they tried. They brought in the big guy, Levi Williams, to try to go in from the goal line, and he couldn't get in from the 1-yard line on a couple of different runs, I think it was. And then, so finally it was Hillstead came back and threw the 1-yard touchdown, and that was the Aggies' first score in the first half. Then Air Force kicked a field goal at the end of the first half and make it 32-7. Third quarter, they went 39-7 as they came out and took the ball on an onside kick. Remember, the Aggies tried to onside kick, change the game, and Air Force did recover that ball, and they eventually scored in 10 plays to go up 39-7. And that was really it for them with 8:45 to go. Utah State did go back and score, but Utah State only really had the ball 3 times in the second half against Air Force. 1, 2, and 3. That's it. And you just don't get that many chances when they're moving the ball like they are. So,
yeah, I wanted to ask Ryan about that onside kick. Utah State comes out at the start of the half, onside kick to Air Force. Air Force recovers. They got a short field. I mean, do you go for that? Do you give yourself a chance to try to make something happen there, or wrong time for that kind of a play?
I don't mind it. At that point, you're down, 7-32 or something. You need some momentum shift. You pick that up and go down and score real quick. Maybe it swings things in your favor. So I don't mind it. At that point, I think it was kind of a Hail Mary.
Nimrod was pretty close to getting it after 10 yards.
Yeah, it was close.
It was pretty close.
I think I'm with Ryan. I think, look, it's not going to hurt you any worse than you're already hurting.
We're already going to win. If we get that, we have a chance maybe.
You're trying to flip things in your favor. I didn't mind it. I know some people were a little upset about it, but look, the first half was bad, and it's not like it's going to get much worse than already bad. So why not try something to mix it up?
Jake wants to join with us tonight, Jacob, on the Aggie Call program. Again, it's texting and Aggie Call, 753-KVNU, the number. Jacob, go ahead.
Eric, Al, what's up, guys? This is Jacob Nielsen.
Oh, hi, Jake. Hey, Jake.
I haven't talked to you in a second, so I figured I'd call in.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not watch the game tonight completely because I was working Friday night football, high school football. But to me, it just kind of seemed like the same old script that we've seen the past couple of years with Utah State losses. And I kind of wanted, not sound off, but I kind of wanted to chime in my thoughts just a little bit. I'm concerned about the resolve of this team. And I think it's been that way since I've been in college and now that I've graduated and moved on, but still watching it, it just seems very up and down in terms of the emotions of this football team. And, last year I was working for the student paper and covering the team closely. And it was crazy to me to see on a week-by-week basis how much the team was impacted by each game. And to build a championship caliber team, to build a Mountain West power, that can't happen. And so my concern with tonight isn't as much about, hey, they couldn't stop the dive. Look, they weren't prepared for it. They're going to be able to bounce back. Just because you can't stop the dive doesn't mean you can't stop other run defenses. But to see the same team that scored 78 on Idaho State and then comes out tonight and doesn't seem to fight too much, it tells me it's like, where are the leaders on this team? I know there's Halle and there's some guys, but we need the whole collective Aggie mentality to be one of hey, we're going to go and we're going to kick butt. And I don't think we've seen that. And especially when Cooper Legas, I thought he would be one of the leaders this year. And he's getting pulled. And it sounds like from listening to Blake's comments on your show that there's a good chance that, he's not even going to play again this year, barring some injuries to Hillstead. So that's my concern is week by week, we don't see consistency from this team. I think it aids to the penalties. It aids to the poor starts. And somehow that's got to change.
Now, Jake, you were around long enough. The 2021 team seemed to relish in the fact that they got behind because then that got them going. And they had a few guys on that team, and you could tell who they were, that never let them back off. And Devin Tompkins, Henniger, the defensive player, those guys wouldn't let it. And then last year's team you were right. They were up and down in how they reacted in certain games. Real good in some, and then I think you're exactly, maybe, that there might be some truth to that in some ways.
Well, and I think the other point, too, is trying to find the leaders. And I think Blake kind of alluded to that. We got a lot of new guys, and we're
maybe some don't feel like they can step up and be
It's a little concerning. You're this deep into this. You've already gone spring. You've already had your fall camp, and we're 3 games into the season, and you're openly expressing, who are my leaders?
You already felt, though, in listening to the 2 players that they talked to after the game, that they like Hillstead. They like how he's reacted. And again, I think if you've got a quarterback can kind of lead the way too, in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the transfer portal, I think, gutted us in terms of those guys, right?
Big personalities, great leaders.
The guys that otherwise would have been senior, type guys that would naturally fall into those positions just aren't here. And our current playmakers, even take like an Ike Larson type, I don't necessarily see him like a team leader type of personality. He's a great player, and he makes plays, but I don't see him like a Nick Henniger type, at least right now, right? So
that's why I thought Switzer might be starting to take on that, because he was around here last year, couldn't play, but he kind of talked the game.
Yeah.
And I don't know what exactly, but it didn't seem like he was a factor in this game tonight like he maybe has been.
Yeah, I think those guys exist, but they just need to be more vocal, and they need to be more, keep each other more accountable. And that can be tough sometimes, because that makes you the bad guy for some of your teammates.
Sure. But also, there's a difference between being one of the stars and being a leader. And those two things are not the same. Now, ideally, you have people who fit both of those roles, right? But you're going to have guys that are absolute studs on the field that are getting in trouble, off, not going to class, showing up late, and that guy's not a leader. You're not going to go to war for him, even though he produces on Saturdays. So I think we definitely have some people who can produce. The question is, do they do both things? Are they, the leader off the field, the first guy at practice? That's the stuff that, I don't know. And it doesn't appear that there's someone who absolutely, unequivocally is that, or at least enough guys right now.
I know Hale Motuapaka, he mentioned, Jacob did. Thank you, Jacob, for calling in, too. And he mentioned him. I think he was hurt here at the start of the year, and I don't know if he's as quite as healthy and stuff. He's kind of a quiet type of guy, but I think everybody kind of leans to him as the kind of guy. He's the Aggie general. He's been here forever.
Yeah.
And that he's been around and played more than just about anybody. So I'd imagine that they might attract to that. But again, how well do the new guys look to him or know that he's been here? That you never know, that kind of stuff. But just it needs to come from within, and it has to happen. And it's a lot easier to do it after a game like this when this is where they soul search and hopefully they come up with something as a team rather than just leave it all to the coaches or whatever. Yeah, it's got to be from the team.
Right. Blake has said many different times that 2021 team won a Mountain West championship because of the player leadership. Leaders like he had never seen before. And so
Devin Tompkins would practice and play and go after everything. You would. And
Nick Henniger was great.
Would do the same thing.
They had a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so this last year's team was searching for it a little bit. I think what galvanized the team last year was us versus them, us against the world mentality. Especially after the fans were booing some of the coaching decisions. And they took that personal, and they used that and got them to a bowl game. This year, I don't know. It's still a little early. Yeah. It's tough to figure that out. A couple more texts coming through.
435-339-0321.
Okay, 1534 texting in. I think any level-headed fan could see this coming. Air Force choked away the game the last 2 years, and there was a reason they were favored by 9. Aggies got punched in the mouth. Seems like coach uses "we're young" every year. Maybe.
There are some guys who played it at other schools a little bit and been at big-time programs that have now come to this team, and we would hope that they would, add to that.
A lot of these experienced guys
left.
Might
be inexperienced, but might not be young.
Yeah,
too,
inexperienced may be the more operable word. 9315 texting in. Thanks for all you guys do for us Aggie fans. Makes games like today hurt a little less for us diehard Aggie fans.
Well, that's nice of you.
8824 texting in. Switzer's first down play on D came after the score was 29-0.
Yeah,
Air
that's
Force
the first
scored
time
10
I saw
points
him,
after that.
Yeah, that's the first time I saw him really make a play.
Coach was not asked about this, but it had a huge impact. And then Legas sort of reminds me of Kent Myers, where he is an athlete playing quarterback. Hillstead looks like a guy who understands the nuances of the position, makes quick decisions, and reads the field well already.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
Okay.
In that, yeah, in this offense, you have to, you've got to have a quick trigger, and for whatever reason, Coop's struggling with that. He's
just kind of holds it just a little while, or just kind of looks and thinks about it.
It's kind of one of those where he gets the snap, he looks, and it's like he just can't quite pull the trigger, and you just can't do that if you're going to throw slants and curls and these quick type.
The screens
and the RPO stuff has to happen so fast because otherwise your linemen are going to get downfield. Like you can't mess around in that offense, and it's just not clicking right now.
Another text coming through 2305. If the Air Force offensive strategy is so difficult to stop the triple option, why are other teams not doing that? Seems like they seem to roll and get 10 wins every season.
This was, football kind of was like this a little bit for a while, and they're kind of like left over with it. There must be some things about it that maybe a lot of players wouldn't want to be involved in that program. It's
boring.
It's definitely not sexy.
It's boring. No one wants to run this offense. Now, it might be effective, right? But no one wants. What receiver wants to go to Air Force? 0. What quarterback that can throw wants to go to Air Force? None. Mm-hmm. And even if you're
They've thrown 10 passes in 3 games.
Like, what team in college football has a fullback except for Air Force, right? So it's just not exciting football. It's old school. It's smash mouth. It's painful to be on the team or be played by the team. So the other 150 teams opt out of this offense.
But how about this? Only Utah, Oregon, Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, and Air Force have won 10 wins in the last 3 seasons of college football.
Yeah, you cannot argue against the results. It's just, honestly, I think it's a great question, but I wonder if you could recruit to this offense if not an academy. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't an academy, could you recruit to it? Because only the academies run it.
Because nobody else really does it.
Not anymore.
Teams have option in their systems a little bit and things like that, but it's nothing.
Georgia Tech, West Virginia.
Well, Georgia Tech's given it, and they've kind of given it up.
They're kind of abandoning it.
Yep, they've given it up.
Yeah.
So
that's a fair question.
Absolutely. But again, would we like it as an Aggie fan to sit there and watch a team that runs the ball for 400 yards every game?
Hey, look how many people show up for Air Force games.
Did you
like
see
5.
their stands? Did you see their stands tonight?
They have all the cadets, and then they have 5 people there.
It's pretty sparse.
When they play Navy or Army at Air Force,
then they have all the Navy and Army people and 5 fans.
But the people that have been in the military fill it up for those games. So, that's their biggest games in a lot of ways, unless they play for a conference championship. Really, it is.
It is.
So,
yeah.
All right, we need to take another break, and again, we're on our Aggie Call portion of Game Day on KVNU. A couple other mention of sponsors. One is Downtown. We're talking about Prodigy Brewing. They do have the Sunday brunch that's available for you. And they are Best of Northern Utah gold medal winners for craft beer and silver winner for bar and grill. So check it out. And the Sportsman. Since 1947, the best in ski equipment, biking gear, camping supplies, technical shoes, great clothing, and quality selection of casual and formal wear at the Sportsman. A couple of our sponsors. Aggies lose at Air Force. 39-21 was the final.
This Aggie broadcast is brought to you by Riverwoods Conference Center, Cache Valley's largest, most versatile event center on News Talk KVNU, covering Utah State sports like no one else.
Make it 3 years in a row. Advanced Heating and AC is honored to be named gold medalist for the best of Northern Utah in the AC HVAC category. They thank you for your support and vote of confidence in their company. You have many choices when it comes to your home's heating and air conditioning system. Make sure you choose the gold medal winning company, Advanced Heating and AC. Call 752-7272 or stop by their showroom west of DI. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
Are you going to the Parade of Homes today? Make sure to check out the appliances inside the beautiful homes at Northridge and Brio. This is Jay at Daryl's Appliance. We are excited to be a part of this year's event. Did you know Daryl's offers exclusive builder pricing on luxury brands like Wolf, Sub-Zero, and Thermador? We can even stack the savings with rebates too. We have it all, including GE Cafe and KitchenAid appliances as well. All of that only at Daryl's West on Airport Road, open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday. Enjoy the show.
We are Agis Home Health and Hospice. Agis, A-E-G-I-S. Our home is your home. We are more than an organization of healthcare professionals. We are proud members of our community. Compassionate, quality patient care is our mission. I am Jason Jones. I'm a proud member of the Agis team. At Agis, we're dedicated to character, experience, and trust. Agis Home Care and Hospice. We will ensure you experience the difference. 435-723-9000 or find us at myagis.com.
Box Elder residents, the state's wood stove conversion assistance program is coming to you October 16th. Sign up right away as funds will be gone quickly. Advanced Fireplace and Stove in Logan can help you replace your old, outdated wood fireplace and get a rebate of up to $4,300. Advanced Fireplace and Stove is Best of Northern Utah winner in the fireplace category and an authorized vendor for this program. They have rebates of up to $100 from Heat and Glow gas fireplaces or $300 from Quadrifire pellet and wood stoves. Advanced Fireplace and Stove. Online, advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
This Utah State Aggie broadcast is brought to you by Les Olson IT, providing managed IT services to business throughout Utah on News Talk KVNU.
All right, one last segment here tonight for you to text in, call in on our postgame. Utah State, again, loses to the Academy 39-21. The other college games tonight, Army won at UTSA down in the Alamo Dome 37-29, and Maryland beat Virginia 42-14. Last night, Navy lost to Memphis, but gave them a heck of an effort. 28-24, they lost that game at Memphis last night. So those are the games that are on for tonight and the college football. I mean, everybody in the conference is playing tomorrow. There's not... I mean, I don't know if I feel like there's any real glamour-type games tomorrow. I mean, Wyoming's playing Texas. Obviously, I guess right now, Ryan Bowman, if we're going to talk about college football, Texas and Florida State have probably made the biggest statements so far in college football with their wins against LSU and Alabama. Probably. Pretty awesome. There you go.
Yeah, that's been impressive. I like to keep my eye on Colorado, and I think this whole CSU talking a little trash to Dion, I love it. I think the Rams are going to get slaughtered tomorrow night.
Yes.
So I'm going to record that game and watch it.
I think every coach will wear sunglasses and hats during the game, I think, for Colorado. I think so.
Well, he handed out sunglasses to his whole team today.
Yeah, so they're all going to wear those.
But hey, how about Fresno State at Arizona State? And the Bulldogs are favored.
Well,
but hard to predict what's going on with Fresno State.
Yeah, and Arizona.
One week
now,
to the
Fresno
next.
does have 11 consecutive wins going back to last season, one of the longer streaks behind Georgia, I think, in college football. But, I don't know if I'm that impressed with Arizona State, though. I'm kind of thinking Fresno State should win that game.
Yeah, they should. Fresno goes on the road, beats Purdue. Then they go to struggle at home in double overtime against Eastern Washington. So who knows which Fresno State team's going to show up.
But if there's somebody in the Pac-12 you want to play right now, though, you might want to play Arizona State.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the Pac-12, in their last year together, they're pretty impressive so far.
They got 6 teams in the top 25.
And they got a lot of great quarterbacks out of those teams, too.
Very deep.
Okay, anything else on the text line?
No.
Okay. Let's see. James Madison's going to play Troy. That game will be on the NFL Network at 5 o'clock tomorrow. So James Madison is 2-0 on the season. Their quarterback has thrown for 368 yards, 3 touchdowns. They have a receiver who's caught 6 passes. That's about all I got. Troy's actually a favorite in the game, about 2.5 points, because it's at Troy is where they are playing in that game. I remember when they were kind of rebuilding that stadium, and the Aggies played there in a game, and the players, we won the game in overtime, as I remember, and they celebrated by sliding in the dirt. That was after it had rained the whole game down there. We did the game on a flatbed truck parked into this thing because the press box was all ripped down, and it had a canopy over it, and the canopy blew away with the wind and the rain.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So that was a lot of fun.
It's first class.
Yeah. But, we also did the game in a trailer on the east side of the stadium, too.
Well, that's true.
They were rebuilding.
Doing the renovations.
And that was a long... And the weird deal there was the lighting as you looked at the northwest corner of the field. For some reason, over on that east side, you couldn't see over on the north. And I remember when we beat Boise State in that one game, like 50. We remember we went crazy against Boise State. I had a hard time picking up who had picked off the one pass and was running it back just out of that one area of the end zone, because you couldn't hardly see them until they got out to about the 20-yard line, and then I could figure out who it was and things. But it was kind of a long way away looking over there.
It's wild. Well, yeah. Hopefully, the Mountain West. I mean, there's a lot of Mountain West versus P5 games tomorrow.
Oregon's playing like Hawaii, I think. Nevada's playing USC, I think it is tomorrow, isn't it?
Nevada's playing Kansas.
Kansas, okay.
In Reno.
Yeah, in Reno.
Yeah. But a couple of opportunities for the Mountain West to get some big statement wins, if they can. Be good for the conference.
Because right now you'd have to say that maybe Wyoming's win against Texas Tech still and the Fresno win against Purdue are the two that we kind of hang the hat on right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Air Force now leads the league at 1-0. There will be 2 games next Friday night, and Air Force is in one of them against San Jose, and then Boise State and San Diego State play each other next Friday night. Those will be the next 2 conference games. This is the only one this week.
Yeah, that's wild to have it so early in the season.
It was a bye week on the Aggie schedule originally, and they moved it for television, I think, for this have it on a Friday night TV tonight.
Yeah, but when just kind of recapping the game tonight, certainly you look at frustration with how slow the team kind of got going. But McCae Hillstead, is he the future? Maybe. I think he certainly shows that he has the potential to execute this offense at a higher level. But can he get protection? Is that offensive line going to be solid enough? Can that defense figure some things out and come together a little bit better? The team does seem to be getting cleaner with fewer penalties. I don't know. I mean, there's still kind of a few
they
things.
They did jump
offsides
twice on the PAT to start the game and gave them a chance to go for 2.
Few silly ones, but there's certainly things about this team that are still kind of scratching our heads over what's going on. Others that look like, okay, there may be a bit of a silver lining here. We could see our way out of this, but it's not going to get easier for Utah State with James Madison coming into next week.
So James Madison at home, they're 2-0, so we'll see how they do in this game against Troy coming up, and then they'll be here on Saturday, and then the Aggies will go to Connecticut, and then it's all conference play really the rest of the way for the Aggies. They play 8 consecutive games before they get a bye. Originally, like this schedule looked like there could have been a bye this week if they would have scheduled a certain way, but there would have been somewhere else. We wouldn't have had the bye maybe later on in the year. All that thing. So, all right, so we're going to wrap it up. Ryan, anything else tonight? Okay, so you saw a heck of a game up at Smithfield. Skyview pulled it out. We mentioned Mountain Crest beat Logan, and Ridgeline did beat Green Canyon. And we mentioned the other scores of games tonight. And then BYU and Arkansas tomorrow, and Utah and Weber State playing tomorrow besides college football.
And Utah State hosting the number 1 team in America.
Yeah, we need to mention that.
Tomorrow.
BYU in soccer is number 1 in the nation. 3 o'clock game up at Bell Field. It's free admission. Now, there's a volleyball game with BYU at 7 o'clock in the Estes Center. They do charge for the volleyball games.
Those are both really good teams.
BYU came up here. Utah came up here in soccer this year, too. So Manny Martin's had a pretty good schedule. The Aggies in the last couple of years have tied BYU and beat them. in soccer.
Yeah.
So, and they're the number one team in the nation.
Huge.
So
Hope we get a good, really big crowd there to support Utah
I'm
State.
sure there will be tomorrow afternoon because weather's supposed to be great and all.
Yeah.
The marathon tomorrow morning, Latino Festival tomorrow afternoon, downtown. You got things going on everywhere.
Parade of
this
Homes.
week. Yeah, it's a busy weekend, and you don't have football on Saturday because it was played on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, definitely no lack of options.
All righty. So, James Madison, you'll go up to the game, Ryan, and come back and tell us about it next week, right?
That's the plan.
Okay. Eric, anything else for you?
No, just see how this Aggie team rebounds and see. I mean, interesting that Coach said that this was not a one-night decision. This is something that's been building to make that change at quarterback.
And it's obvious that he's ahead of Levi Williams because he got the 20% reps, 80% for Legas. So now Levi Williams is just maybe a short yardage guy, or whatever.
Package.
He's got a good arm. He just has not been accurate in what we have seen, and I don't know. Maybe he's not the kind of quarterback that reacts, as Ryan's talking about, quickly to make the offense
kudos for
run.
Coach Anderson for making that decision earlier this season, as he was late making a decision that should have been made last year.
Yeah, the way that was going with Logan Bonner and all. Yeah. So, okay, thank you, texters. Thank you, sponsors. And thank you all for listening in tonight for our Utah State coverage on KVNU. Game day started at 4. Brought to you in part by Adams Wealth Advisors. Again, expect specific guidance from the advisors that adhere to principles of honesty, professionalism, integrity. AdamsWealthAdvisors.com. Alpine Home Medical, your premier one-stop shop of home medical equipment and the service provider out on 14th North here in Logan. And also Cafe Sabor, 21 years. They have their doors open down at the Logan train station down there, but now there's many other places they're at. Search Cafe Sabor for locations when you're on the move around different places. You may run into Cafe Sabor, other good sponsors. We appreciate all who bring you the action. One final look at the stats now tonight, brought to you by Cache Valley Bank. We always look at the stats for Cache Valley Bank. You get the level of service you deserve from Cache Valley Bank. Personalized attention's there for Cache Valley Bank to support you and be your partner all along the way. So Hillstead did throw 18 of 27, 202 yards. That is the best freshman passing mark for Utah State since Darrell Garrettson was in the lineup as a thrower. Then Cooper Legas was 2 of 7, 46 yards, the interception while he was in there. Levi Williams 0 for 1. Larry Ayer, their quarterback, threw for 3 for 4, 84 yards. And the one pass set up the one score. Then they had Burke run for 110. Michael ran for 106 yards. Eldridge ran 58, and Larry Ayer ran for 56 yards. Aggies had Rasul Faison, who ended up with 70 yards or 40 yards, make it. Booth had 19. Hillstead had 6. Williams and Legas lost yardage. So Micah Davis, 4 catches, 84 yards. Terrell Vaughn had 6 for 61. Royals had 4 for 52 and a score. Brock Lane had 4 for 36. Booth caught 1 pass, and Colby Bowman caught 1 pass. And Rosnos got the 49-yarder for them. In the defensive category, Ike Larson had 11, 5 solo tackles. Cole Joyce had 11 with 4 solos and that sack. MJ Tafisi had 9 tackles. Jaden Francois had 8. Simeon Harris had 4. And Switzer ended up with 4 tackles in the game. Alec Mox had 11 with 2 sacks for Air Force, and he stripped that ball away. That was the early fumble that made it 15-0 in the contest. So those are your final stats for Cache Valley Bank. So Eric and Jason Walker, appreciate Jason Walker, too, behind the scenes, does a lot of things for us, getting us information, interviews. They seem to talk to the same ones that we heard on the Aggie Network coverage tonight, so that's why we didn't have any other player interviews, because you've already heard from the guys they talked to, Micah Davis and Cole Joyce, along with Coach Anderson. But we're here next Saturday for more, but those guys will be talking about it all throughout the week on the Full Court Press afternoons over on The Fan, our sports talk sister station here on KVNU. We will have morning news for you throughout the rest of this next week, and we'll be highlighting the Aggies and the Dukes who are playing next Saturday in the stadium. So that'll do it for our coverage tonight, and stay with us. We will be joining the In Progress. We'll join the Coast to Coast programs overnight here on KVNU, just around the corner. So stay with us for that on KVNU.